Hello everyone, friends and viewers. Today, we come to chat about one thing that makes countless Chinese families feel tight in their hearts: property tax. Right in the early winter chill of 2025, former Finance Minister Jiwei threw out a sentence that seems calm at the 16th Caixin Summit on November 23. The property tax law is already finished. The difficult problems are basically solved. Timely launch, timely launch. These four words sound like a long-planned feast, with knives and forks already prepared, just waiting for the main dish to be served. Who is this main dish? Of course, it's China's Leeks, those ordinary people who emptied 6 generations of savings for one house. Looking back at the past 20-plus years, China's real estate was like a fat giant beast that was fed too much with high turnover, high leverage, high debt, three highs mode, pushing up house prices, land prices, and debts. Local governments relied on selling land. Once super successful, land transfer fees took up half of fiscal income. But now, the bubble burst 4 years ago. The housing market is low like a long winter night. Jiwei himself said the transformation still needs to wait 5 years. But at this critical moment, the wind of property tax is released again. Friends, this is not a coincidence. This is urgent. It's anxiously wanting to cut that last crop of leeks. If you also pay attention to this topic, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the little bell to select all. Don't miss future programs! Data shows that in 2024, just the pilot city's property tax income exceeded 300 billion yuan. You can see the results are significant. Has everyone heard of a term in China called "one house, three eats"? It means these years, the CCP desperately propped up the real estate industry, mobilized people's enthusiasm to buy houses that was already calculated using the real estate industry to achieve 3 levels of benefits. First, the government, through selling land, collects land transfer fees, earns a ton. Through constantly rising house prices, the land transfer fees end up on the buyers' heads. This is the first eat. Then, since people have houses, there will be house transactions. The government, through the real estate exchange run by the Land and Housing Bureau, collects 7 to 9% of the transaction price as tax fees, earns another sum. This is the second eat, now just waiting to collect property tax. This is the third eat. The CCP does leak, cutting things in an orderly way, doing full homework. Such a big thing. This wind was released more than 10 years ago. As early as 2013, the central government clearly wanted to deepen property tax reform. In 2014, it was first written into the government work report. Then in 2018-2019, mentioned again and again. From do a good job in legislation to steadily advance, the signals are getting stronger. But why drag it to now? Because land finance was too sweet. Local governments sold land like selling gold ingots buried by ancestors in the backyard. One sale is trillions. Before the bubble burst in 2021, land transfer fees at peak occupied more than 40% of local fiscal income. In those years, Beijing, Shanghai house prices were like rockets. Ordinary people gritted their teeth for 30-year loans, monthly payments so heavy they couldn't breathe, just to fight for a spot in the concrete forest. Until 2022, it was originally a potential window for property tax. But at that time, the real estate market situation was complex. The overall market was deleveraging, defoaming. Launching property tax had too much risk. So the CCP's hand holding the knife slowed down, temporarily didn't raise it. Just didn't expect. The economic situation turned sharply down. The real estate industry slid down like 1,000 miles. Land transfer income from 8.5 in 2022 to almost halved in 2024 to 4.9 trillion. In the first half of 2025, it plummeted to a little over 1 trillion. The pillar of land finance is already shaky. Land finance collapsed, local debts piled up like mountains. In 2025, fixed asset investment fell 1.7% year-on-year, hitting a historical low. Industrial output, retail sales both slowed down. Double 11 shopping festival was cold like no one going home for New Year. Local governments are anxious. Property tax became a life-saving straw. So the fast knife of property tax was raised again. Jiwei frankly said at the summit the biggest difficulty of property tax is how to set the tax base. China's house structure is too complex. Self-built houses on collective land, resettlement houses from demolition, old broken small ones empty for many years, and those properties with no transaction records. Can't cut with one knife to tax by market value. That would force ordinary families to a dead end. So, they thought of a discount calculation method, referred to the value of freely traded properties, give a discount as the basis for tax. Jiwei's words released a strong signal. The difficulties have been basically solved. This means technical barriers have been cleared. The rest is the choice of policy window. The Ministry of Finance emphasizes legislation first, full authorization, step-by-step advance. Now, legislation is also finished. Some people say, according to per capita exemption area of 40 to 60 square meters, a family of 3 living in a 120 square meter house doesn't need to pay tax for now. But if the child gets married and moves out, and one spouse passes away first leaving one person, then have to pay tax, a lonely old person, relying on a meager pension how to pay tax. If the house is a bit bigger, according to progressive tax rate, then a Shanghai family of 3 if only one house, total area 160 square meters, the excess 40 square meters at 0.2% tax rate, annual tax is 6,400 yuan. Jiwei mentioned, property tax is the most suitable tax as a local tax. After the economy turns to normal growth, should quickly carry out pilots. From this sentence, the current timing is still being assessed, but it's no longer far away, because pilot cities may soon expand. Official media promotes, why is opening property tax so important? This is not only a tool to regulate the housing market, but also a remaking of the local fiscal system. Friends, this is not wolf coming, this is the wolf already opened its mouth. In the past, local governments mainly relied on selling land to make money. Land finance was once super good, but now land transfer fees are sliding, debt pressure rising. Locals urgently need stable income sources. Property tax, this big thing, now is no longer just talk on paper. Lu Jiwei's statement means legislation has become reality. Implementation enters countdown. A netizen on X platform, Li Dang, posted Lu Jiwei comes out to blow wind saying, property tax is the most suitable as local tax. I find the finance minister has no basic knowledge of finance and tax, ordinary people as the most basic tax base. A bunch of people don't even want to pay social security, already loaned 30 years to buy one house, contributed millions to local finance in land transfer fees, now still make them pay another few thousand. Tens of thousands per year in property tax for this house, really not afraid to force ordinary people to death. This is what makes the CCP difficult. The knife is already polished, shiny, but what timing to start the harvest? Start taxing now. The real estate industry that's about to die will die for sure. Delay taxing. What to do with no fiscal money? Not to mention others, civil servant expenses, even use pensions. Where to get money later? This is why the CCP is anxiously turning in circles. Lu Jiwei pointed out at the 16th Cakes and Summit on November 14. Before the real estate bubble burst in 2021, China's real estate development mode had run for 20+ years, forming high turnover, high leverage, high debt, 3 highs mode, causing high house prices, high land prices, high debts, and local government land income proportion too high and other problems. China's housing market low will continue. Real estate transformation still needs to wait another 5 years. Lu Jiwei judges China's real estate market low will continue for some time, and because houses no longer preserve value, residents' expectations weaken, will drag down consumption growth and strengthen deflation trend. Peking University finance professor Michael Pettis posted on social media X, he agrees with the former finance minister's judgment that China's housing market shrink will continue 5 years. And added first-tier city house prices may bottom and rebound in the next 1 or 2 years, but low-tier city house prices will continue to fall for many years. According to CCP official economic data released on November 14, the real estate market is further worsening. Readers calculated based on official data, October new residential prices fell 0.5% month-on-month, the biggest drop in a year-on-year drop of 2.2%. Second-hand house prices representing market confidence fell even fiercer, month drop 0.66%, the fastest drop in the past 13 months. Real estate investment in the first 10 months fell 14.7% year-on-year, bigger than the 13.9% in the first 9 months. Panzin Macroeconomic Consulting senior China economist Lin Habo said, the real estate industry is still in low. Inventory is about 1.5 years away from reasonable level to rebalance supply and demand. The long-term fall in house prices is hitting buyers' confidence. People start to doubt if real estate can be seen as a family wealth storage tool. Analysts also warn second-hand house price drops are nearing a key threshold. Economist Intelligence Unit senior economist Xu Tianqin said if this drop continues, referring to the fast policy response mode in 2024, the possibility of government intervention will greatly increase. Anxious to prop up the real estate industry, the CCP authorities' latest round of housing market stimulus measures appeared in late August when 3 big cities, Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen, relaxed home buying rules, especially in suburban areas. However, due to stagnant family income and slowing urbanization, these measures' effects are not as good as similar ones in September last year. Citigroup Greater China chief economist Yu Shangguang warned real estate policy effects are weakening. The housing market hasn't bottomed yet. The real estate industry won't stabilize in 1 year. At the same time, China's economy faces severe challenges in the fourth quarter. According to CCP official economic data, October house prices dropped the biggest in a year. Fixed asset investment created years of rare drop amplitude, industrial output and retail sales growth both slowed, reflecting weak domestic demand and continuing worsening of real estate crisis. According to CCP Statistics Bureau latest data, October industrial output grew 4.9% year-on-year, the weakest since August 2024, far below September's 6.5%, also below market expected 5.5%. Retail sales only increased 2.9%, also the weakest in a year, and has slowed for 5 straight months. Many experts warn the CCP published economic data may have beautification. However, even so, the official data released on November 14 still paints a dim economic picture. The retail weakness is also reflected in the just-ended Double 11 shopping festival. Even far in America, CNBC noticed, this year's China's Double 11 promotion activities lasted over a month on major e-commerce platforms, although pushed some sales, but overall consumer mood is still low. Compared to past years, the reaction is obviously cold. Even if e-commerce offered big discounts, still hard to significantly boost buying willingness. Showing under housing market down and unclear income prospects, consumers are still cautious. From January to October, fixed asset investment even fell 1.7% year-on-year, the biggest drop in the same period since records. CNBC quoted Goldman Sachs analysis saying, October single-month investment drop reached 11.4%, the weakest since early 2020 pandemic. Boyne Asset Management President and Chief Economist Jiwei said, the decline speed of fixed asset investment is quite fast. This reflects weak real estate industry investment and poor infrastructure investment. Greater China Chief Economist Song Lin said given authorities emphasized domestic demand importance, the weakening economic momentum in the second half is disappointing. Friends, China faces economic cold winter, local finance in trouble. When will property tax cut down? Jiwei said timely, levy, this time is probably near, said to first pilot then expand scope, complete real estate tax reform task by 2029. Is it possible to expand nationwide earlier?
Very possible.
If the CCP is extremely poor, definitely first protect regime stability, protect civil servants, this basic group. Ordinary families, even if collect 10,000 or 8,000 per year in property tax, holding 2 or more properties maybe don't know how many tens of thousands, and collect every year. This is stable fiscal income source. But this knife cuts the Leeks, which is China's last family wealth. Ordinary people already retreated to the corner loans, land fees, property tax, China's Leeks, visit silence or make a sound. The CCP's land finance dream wakes up, already brewing the next harvest storm. Friends, how to guard the wallet, guard your own home, is what everyone is paying attention to. Today we talk up to here. Welcome to like, subscribe, leave messages in the comment area. We see you next time.